Welcome to the Salt Strong Podcast, disrupting fishing entertainment as you know it. Prepare to laugh. Prepare to get to know fishing legends in a whole new and unfiltered way. And on occasion, you might even learn a thing or two about fishing. Here's your host, Joe Simons. Like diamonds.
How I found $8,000 and how you can too. Hey everybody, Joe Simons, like diamonds. Back again, Salt Strong Unchurched. If you hear me huffing and puffing or any wind, it's because I'm outside walking. Still have this massive bionic brace on my arm. If you didn't hear, I was trying to push/pull our pontoon boat off of the beach. I beached it purposely because the storm was coming. And the next time we went to take it out, couldn't back it down. No matter how hard I tried, the prop had weeds in it. It was just a lot going on. And so like I've done this before. I kind of just slowly lift the one of the corners of the pontoon boat off of the sand. And normally I can kind of wiggle it out. And this time it was just stuck. It was jammed. And so I did one last with all I had, and I heard it pop. I knew exactly what it was. The second it happened, I looked down and like my bicep was completely not touching my forearm anymore. It completely tore and ripped and popped up like 2 inches up into my bicep. They call it the Popeye bicep, and it was bad enough where I had to do surgery. And so now I got this bionic brace and can't do too much with my arm. So I'm walking every morning instead, at least get some exercise. So outside, neighbors. One of them, I started the podcast and he started chatting with me. He was outside and I had to start over. He's like, who were you talking to? Talking by yourself? I'm like, no, talking with my awesome audience of Unchurched. Took off a couple weeks. One, we were doing quite a bit of traveling. We're kind of getting in that end of year season, and one of our best friends had a pretty epic birthday party we got invited to St. Martin. If you haven't been to St. Martin, highly recommend it. Had a really, really good time there. A little boating, even though I couldn't do much. Still really, really fun. And then I went to Indianapolis and now Minnesota. A lot of little trips, and it ties in with the headline of this podcast. So why I was on these trips, I stayed in a couple different hotels, stayed in a really nice house. And I don't know about you, but when you check out of a hotel, do you or do you not tip? How much do you tip? Meaning, do you leave money for the cleaning ladies? And as a younger adult, I did not even realize that was a thing. Meaning, I stayed in a hotel in my 20s and you just leave and check out. No one told me that that's typical, that you would leave cash for the cleaning people. And as I've gotten older, I've learned that that's, something that is kind of normal and helpful for them. Most of these, cleaning people aren't paid very well. And it's how they make part of their living through tips. So I just felt kind of called, whatever you want to describe it as, but I felt this almost like guilt of leaving a bigger tip than normal. And like, for instance, one night or one place I was only in for one evening, and I don't know, the room was $200 and I left a $100 tip. This is not typical, right? Normally it might be a 10 or a 20. I just felt called. I was like, all right, give your biggest bill. I literally felt like myself being called to do that. I looked through and I had 100. I was like, all right, I'll leave 100. No rhyme or reason. Never even saw the cleaning person while I was there. I was like, so it was only one night. It was in and out. But I did it. And then something similar happened where I did it again. And it was just 3 different instances over the past 2 weeks while I've been traveling. Another one was, I didn't even get to go on the wave runners, but my wife did because of my arm. I had to sit back and wait on them to come back, but I gave them a nice tip, even though tip was already included. I don't know, just going out of my way to brighten people's days. And then on my last flight, I had quite a bit of time. The flight got delayed, and I had, because of all my old points with American Express, access to the Priority Club in the Delta Lounge, if you will. So it was up in there, and it was kind of dead. And I was like, you know what? I don't have anything I have to do later this afternoon. I'm going to have a beer. Really enjoy myself. So I had a beer, and the young lady behind the bar, the bartender, you could tell she was like on her phone, just kind of looked a little bit stressed. And I got a beer, which they're free in the Delta Lounge. Some people tip there, some people don't, just like the hotel. Not that it's frowned upon if you don't, but it's typical that you would tip. So I look in my wallet, I don't have any small bills. It's like, dang it. And she's already like moved on with her life. She's back on her phone. And I could have just walked away. And she never would have known. Or I mean, heck, I wasn't leaving. She maybe just assumed I was going to tip later. And so I'm kind of looking through. I was like, man, all I have is 20 and a 50. And so I went back up. I was only a few steps away, but went back up and kind of interrupted her. I was like, hey, this is for you. And she's like, seriously? Like, you don't need change? I was like, no, it's yours. $20. And I thought she was going to cry. She's like, you don't know how much you made my day. And it hit me as I was sitting there drinking my beer. I was like, man, assuming you're in a similar boat as me, where $20 is not going to make or break my day. I don't like to lose $20. But at the same point, I would never tell someone, oh my gosh, almost in tears, that you made my day. So who knows what she's going through, if she's in crazy amount of debt, etc. But I was like, man, that small little, act of gratitude, $20 on a beer, literally could have changed this girl's trajectory for the day, the week, the month, the year, who knows. And I just thought that was so interesting. So I'm going out of my way the rest of this trip to just tip, especially people that you could tell that didn't have much in terms of means, etc. And I get home and I got a bunch of mail. I've been gone for like basically 2 weeks, in and out. And I got all this mail, and I got a dreaded letter from the IRS. Two letters from the IRS, not just one, two. And I was like, oh man, look at this I already paid my taxes. You just never, I don't know if you're like me, but anytime I get a letter from the IRS or even the Florida Department of Revenue, and we were in charge of Salt Strong, it's always like, it's usually never good news. They don't write you just to say, I love you. It's usually something bad. And the first one I opened said, we don't have your banking information on file, almost like alluding to the fact there's a refund. I'm like, well, I paid my taxes. I was expecting no refund. I mean, we sold Salt Strong last year. I owed a lot of money, and there was certainly no refunds coming. And so I kind of thought that was like maybe a scam. I even Googled it real quick. I was like, is there a IRS letter scam of them sending you letters trying to get you to go to a certain website to put in all your banking information, etc. So I kind of put that one to the side because I knew there's another one. I'd already seen it. And opened up the other one, and it said, you overpaid by $8,000. And at first I was like, what? Also, like, is this all just some sort of scam? I look at it, and I found my old login. I log in, lo and behold, they, meaning the IRS, the Gov, as they were going through my tax return, my tax advisor, I guess, somehow screwed up, and we overpaid $8,000. Had no idea, was not intentional, was an accident. And fortunately, they found it, which they're normally not the best to tell you that you're getting back money. They're really good at telling you that, hey, you did something wrong and you owe it. I was flabbergasted, and I sat there. I was like, wow, isn't that crazy? This shouldn't have happened. And we've talked about it before, about just the power of giving. And not that you give just to get money back, but it is crazy how many times consistently this has happened in my life, where I give when maybe I don't want to, or it's not needed. It's just not normal, like all those scenarios I just told you about those prior 2 weeks, but I was just being overly generous. And even though it amounted to maybe a few $100s of extra tips, I come back and have an $8,000 surprise. I was blown away, and it makes me want to just keep giving. And, kind of that whole, you can't outgive God. I love that quote. And man, that was just so powerful. So I just wanted to share it. If you're ever feeling like I felt that, it's just kind of like a nudge of like, hey, give a little bit more, do it and watch what happens. And it might not be a surprise check of $8,000 or whatever. It might be just some door opens up that leads to something big, or even something maybe for your kids or grandkids. You just never know how things will open up in your life when you're generous and giving. So just wanted to share that as I'm on my walk. I was thinking about it. So it just happened here recently, and it's like, doggone, God is great. Cannot give him. I want to give some more. So I'm going to keep doing it, and I'll keep updating you on what happens. But I'm pleased to say I don't have any bad stories of giving where things didn't happen in a good way and obviously impacting people's lives, which is even more important. I can still remember that smile on that girl's face. I won't forget it. I mean, just her overall body reaction and everything was just like, wow, the $20 changed someone's life. So you just never know. Love you guys. Hope this was helpful. Start giving, even if it's just an extra tip. You'll be surprised what it can do. Chat with you on the next episode. 'Cause fishing, it's in my soul, it was pain.